Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a great day today. Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 5 hard truths that I had to learn in software engineering. Now, I have over a decade of experience. I've been in the field since freshman year of high school. That was a long time, like back in 2009, all right? And I've learned a lot along the way. Being a software engineer is a blessing. If you love the code, if you love to solve problems, it has its perks, but you got to put in the work. You got to grind. You got to figure things out. You got to know how to communicate to where you could be confident in not only your code, but then also how you are presenting yourself amongst your peers and getting that recognition for knowing how to code, knowing how to solve those problems, providing solutions, giving out information for frameworks, like how to use all that stuff. It just comes with experience. These 5 hard truths I had to learn the hard way, and I spent a lot of time just worrying about the code, trying to be the best that I could be. But at the end of the day, learning these 5 truths has helped me let go of, that ego a little bit and kind of focus on the bigger picture and really pushed my career to where it is today. And for those of you that don't know, I am a senior full stack engineer. I mostly just work on high scale projects to planning them, mentoring. I'm really in a different stage in my career, and I want to do the same thing here on this channel so that you guys understand and not get into the same habits that I did that kind of set me back a little bit, but it helped me with my growth along the way. Okay. So now that we're all comfortable with each other, let me start with number one. I think number one should be ingrained in your mind when it comes to software engineering, and that is you're not going to know everything. You're not going to know everything. Okay. I used to think that, once I hit a ceiling in software engineering, whether it's learning HTML and CSS to the max, learning JavaScript, learning a new framework to build websites, applications, that I was doing my thing. I'm solving that problem. I'm actually being more effective and productive. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a new framework. There's going to be a new library that solves a problem. There's going to be a new AI tool that's going to get you to an answer relatively quickly. And you're constantly learning. So you have to understand, as a software engineer, you're learning and growing all the time. There's no comfortable ceiling, all right? It's not like you're at the top floor of you got a penthouse suite and everything's all good and you're just looking outside and you see, the city line and all that stuff, and you just like, yo, I made it. Nah, bro, it never ends. It never ends. In software engineering, you're gonna be learning a lot, bro. Really spending time learning and growing, figuring out what technology makes you happy and actually solves a problem, and be a subject matter expert at that technology is going to take you further. That's going to help you build fundamentals. Also, writing code too. You have to understand the fundamentals. A lot of these new developers that are out here, junior, entry level, they're using AI and they're not really getting the fundamentals. They're just prompting, hey, can you build this out for me? And then AI spits out this code, and you think it's good because whatever the vision was that you prompted it, it looks like it, but then there's issues with it. Like, it's not functioning well. Like, the basic functionality is not there. And this is something that you have to learn. If you can't learn that and you can't spot check your code, especially after AI, builds it for you, you're gonna be screwed, bro. And especially using these tools. I mean, it's so easy to use, like AI. It doesn't matter what AI tool it is, but it's mostly how you adjust and understand what the code is. Is it solving the problem? Am I seeing more bugs? And if I get into an infinite loop where I'm not getting the answer that I want after restarting the prompts and all that stuff, can I effectively write that code? Number two is, you're not going to be spending a lot of time coding. In the beginning of my career, I spent a lot of time coding, just working on websites, working on backend APIs, making sure the data was flowing between the front end to the back end, all that. But then after a while, as I started to progress in my career, I was spending a lot of time on meetings, answering notifications, and just planning projects. Especially now, all I do, I would say about 60% is planning. 60% is meetings, helping others with their own projects, bringing that value. As a senior engineer, you're going to be doing that. Okay. So, as a junior dev, you're going to be working on bugs, you're going to be working on small little features, and based on the requirements, you're just going to go with it and just say, hey, this is work. But at the end of the day, you need to question the requirements, question what's ever planned. And if you don't necessarily understand a function or a functionality that is being proposed for the stakeholders, you could bring this up to your product manager or the stakeholders like, hey, does this make sense? Or if you find a fundamental flaw, bring it up. Communication is key to saving your time. All right. But a lot of your time is going to be spent just going through notifications, figuring things out, planning things as you progress in your career. The coding will still be there, but it's going to be mostly meetings. And I'm I'm not really an advocate for meetings unless you really need my time. If I'm working on a different project, I need to stay here and really focus on that project. But if I'm not doing any of that, then mostly it's just planning and meetings. Okay. And then also documentation too, peer reviews, looking at the code, pull requests that come in. If you're assigned to review that pull request, to look at the code to make sure that it's good enough to get into the code base, you're going to spend a lot of time doing that. I do that every single day. Every single day, I get a pull request. I have to read through the code, fine line it. Now you have AI actually, going through the pull request and finding little gotchas that, you might overlook. And it enhances your standards in terms of what is good code versus what's not good code, and what are potential risks that you could introduce into your project if you don't have those, like that second review. Once I learned that, I mean, it's been great. Like, I actually love planning and talking with people, collaborating, mentoring, and all that stuff, and then coding whenever I can. I think that's a healthy balance, but a lot of it is just trying to get information out to the team so that it's valuable. Number three is being a developer isn't enough. Just like number two, you can't just rely on your code. You can't just rely on, the frameworks that you learned and all that stuff. If you can't communicate effectively how you're using a framework, how your code is working, how you should adhere to a standard based on your research, you're at a loss. I can tell you right now, working on my communication has improved my career exponentially, because I'm able to talk effectively and actually not just say a bunch of word salad, but actually start from a story, right? Like point A, B, and C, done. And depending on who I talk to, I could tailor that in a particular way. If I'm talking with the engineer, I'll be more technical. How should we structure code? How should we use TypeScript? How should we get rid of magic numbers? Why we should be using feature flags? And how to go about approving those feature flags between different environments. A lot of that just comes with the research and being confident in understanding the tool that I'm using and making sure that everybody else understands as well, and take that feedback if they don't understand and reiterate and spit out more information so that you guys can understand. If you cannot communicate, if you can't present something to a team and showcase how much you know and teach others on different things, you're going to be stuck in that loop where all you're doing is coding and that's it. You're not going to be happy with that, especially if people are not taking you seriously. So for me, I had to communicate and talk with a lot of people to get to where I am and be able to present in a good way. All right. Because sometimes you could just miss the mark and that's okay. But a lot of it is just communication. That communication and collaboration, I think, is the most important thing. Soft skills will help you grow your career a lot faster, as opposed to just, being in a bubble and just coding. Like that doesn't do anything for anybody, and even for yourself. I'm telling you right now, you work on those communication skills for like a month or two, let me know, comment in the video, like how has that helped you in your career? What changed? Because you're gonna notice that if you had imposter syndrome and you're working on your communication and you're effectively, learning and being confident in what you're saying, no one could touch you. Number four, your worth isn't tied to code. I used to think, oh, I wrote this nice application and, that's my worth. But honestly, that's not your worth. The code is not your worth. What is your worth is being able to communicate, being able to bring value, whether that's within your code or within the way you speak and how you deal with relationships, that is the value. Are you just, just sitting around working on bugs all day? Sitting in the background, not saying anything for like a couple months to a year? Or are you really spending time helping others? Are you spending time, grinding, loving what you do, being passionate about what you do, showing that level of excitement over to your teammates and, working with each other? Because you can't do it alone, bro. It doesn't matter. You could, like, I work remotely, okay? And yes, I work on projects a lot alone. A lot of it I've done alone, but I've asked for help on different areas, whether that's just the front end code, whether that's the back end code, whether that's business logic. I've had to ask for help, and we could all collaborate together and figure out a better solution. My solution might not have been the best, but after collaborating with other people, now I know, okay, my solution wasn't that great, but at the end of the day, we came up with a better solution. They had better ideas. So this is where being a team player comes into play. In, working with other people and creating those connections is actually going to help you become better. Collaborate as much as you can, and notice how much more effective you are, not only in the code that you're writing, but then also just how many relationships you're creating because you got out of your comfort zone. And last thing I want to talk to you guys about, and this is very important, so listen up. This is very important. Engineering does not equal fulfillment. A lot of people, they look at tech and they're like, oh, I would love to be in tech, and because of the money, the remote opportunities, you don't really work as much. It's real chill. You could dress down whenever you want. It's real chill. Like, let me tell you something. Depending on what company you work for, yes, you do get those perks. But at the end of the day, remote opportunities are so hard to get into, number one. So you got to be super blessed to get that. Number two, you have to understand that the money shouldn't be the motivating factor here. If you're passionate about coding, engineering will find you. All right. If you're not passionate about coding and you just want a paycheck, you're going to burn out so quick and you're not even going to love coding anymore or software engineering. Trust me. There's so many people that I've spoken to that wasn't really passionate about programming, and then they get into it and they realize, like, oh wow, this is really complex. Well, yeah, it takes a long time to learn how to code. If you're passionate about coding, that you spend 1 hour a day building out a project, whether you use AI tools or not, and you're able to understand the fundamentals and you're actually enjoying the process, then this is a job for you. But if you're one of those people that just sit there and watch tutorials at the tutorials online and follows an instructor to build out an application and think that you're actually coding, think again. You're not going to get a job that way. And you're not going to have the fundamentals to get you to where you need to be. So if you really love coding, if you really love engineering, you need to spend time every single day building something that solves a problem. Use AI as a coding assistant to help you break down the code that it's writing to solve that problem, and just have it in a document. Read over those fundamentals and practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the better you will be. So that's it, guys. That's the video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments. Has this list helped you understand what software engineering is all about? And if you're currently in software engineering, do you relate to what I went through? Because a lot of it helped build my character. Don't get me wrong. Once I was done with just getting humbled multiple times, then everything started to click for me, and it just took time. All right. So we'll talk soon.